I'm gonna do another one of these mastery set reviews. So this one's gonna be Executioner, is what we're gonna discuss today. This is a mastery set that you actually get access to kind of earlier in the game, and a lot of times it gets dropped by players as they get further in the game, but I think it has a lot of uses, not just for early players, but also late game players as well. So there's a couple ways you can take advantage of this. So first, let's discuss the masteries that are involved with equipping it. So you're going to have to run Competence, which is a basic slot. It's only 1 point. It's a hit chance plus 5% for your character. This is pretty minor effect, so you are giving up a slot for that, so that is something to consider. But you know, having a little bit of extra hit chance isn't too bad, especially with certain characters that may not have the best hit chances. Next up is Opportunity Strikes, another 1 point wonder, but it is crit chance plus 10%. This is generally useful. Usually you are needing to get at least some crit on the character. You usually can't do it all through gear. It varies from character to character, but having some extra crit is always nice. Only costs 1 point, does take one of your attack slots, but because it only costs 1 point, usually doesn't hurt your property limit too badly, which usually attack property limit's one of the ones that you can struggle with because some of the attack skills cost a ton to slap in. Next up's Heavy Strike. This one's 2 points and it increases your attack damage by 15%. Still not a hugely powerful effect, but it is something that's there and useful. And the last one is Final Blow. When you attack an enemy below 33% HP, the attack will always critically strike. The only time that this effect does not kick in is if an enemy has final resistance or some other means to force a block. So, can be useful, especially if you fight enemies with high block that are not equipped with stuff like final resistance. Can actually come really in handy if you're trying to take out a Destron, because you can guarantee the hit once they're at 1 HP. If they're like in Berserk or something like that, you'll be at least guaranteed to go through their block and crit them when you're running Final Blow. So it does have some interesting applications. It is a 3 point cost, which is kind of brutal, and you are giving up 3 attack slots. Now, if you do complete the set, you get an extra 10% attack damage. So that basically you're getting about 2/3 of an extra heavy strike slapped in there for free. And then the extra effect is your action time further decreases by 15 per one enemy you put out of action. 15 action time reduction is pretty big effect for killing an enemy. If you're chain killing, this will keep your action time down. It's really useful on characters that have action time on certain attacks. Albus is a good example. Misty, if you're using her throw knife, has a cast delay, so as long as you're killing enemies with it, you basically completely negate that effect. And the other thing about this is any time your character kills, not just when it's your turn. And this is where I think some of the effect that newer players get a lot of use out of it is when you're doing like cover and pincer attacks. If you're using Executioner with your cover and pincers, if you end up killing with those cover and pincer attacks, you actually will get your turn up sooner, which is pretty powerful. You can also pair this with stuff like Forestallment and Counterattack. So, definitely something to keep in mind. The fact that you can get like an off-turn cover, kill something, and then basically get half your action time back, because 15, well, not half, but the base 36 action delay, they'll cut down to 21. If you have a way to get a second one off, you're only then, 6 action time away from getting your turn, which is pretty dang good. So hard to argue with that. It is, like I said, something you get access to kind of early. It is one of the I don't know if it was an original mastery, but it was definitely introduced pretty early in the game. It's pretty simple basic mastery. I know you get access to opportunity strikes, competence, and heavy strike really early in the game. Final blow, I think, is the one that you have to kind of wait on a little. This one's the earliest you can access final blow. So we'll go to the enemy list here. We'll go ahead and we'll do a search for mastery and final blow. There it goes. So earliest you get access to it, like Kahong, so yeah, 15 violent or 17 in chapter mission. Weird, Miles has no parents locations? That's kind of weird. 23, 32. So 26 story, or not story, blue mission, common mission, you can get access to it. And usually blue missions are pretty easy. You get access to it from a couple other enemies. Some of these guys are higher end. What is there? So yeah, Kahong should be the earliest access to it, which is from 15 violent or 17 on the story missions. The recommended level is 17. But let's go ahead and click on this. What is this? So chapter 3, you can get access to it as soon as you'll get access. So still fairly early. I think by that point, so that's from 18, 17. So that should be the time alone mission. Yeah. So it's right at the start of chapter 3, and I think it's just before you get Ray. So you just have like the initial 4 party members. Albus, Sion, Irene, and Anne. I think you have Hazing also by this point. Can't remember exactly when Hazing joins. I think it's right at the start of chapter 3, I think is when you get Hazing. But yeah. Try to pick up that mastery, especially if you're early on and you're really using a lot of the cover and pincer attack stuff. The Executioner is actually pretty good, and just the raw stat bonuses from it are pretty good. Late game, the reason why it's so hard for later game players to fit it into their setups is because usually we're trying to slot in other masteries, and having to give up 4 mastery slots for that effect is can be difficult. It is done on some characters, like I'm currently running it with my my Misty build, just because I just need the attack damage increase. Having the extra hit and crit chance is also nice. Misty is notorious for having not the best hit rate, so you want to make sure that she's over 100% hit rate. Hide will ignore enemies' dodge chance, but if you don't have 100% hit chance, you can miss. So still need to have at least 100% hit chance. Same with the crit chance. You're ignoring their block, but you still need to be able to land the actual crit. So making sure you have the hit and crit chance while you're in hide is still important. So slotting in competence opportunity strikes wasn't too hard to do. Heavy strike because I needed the attack damage, and at this point all I had to do was slap in final blow. So it's, you know, a no-brainer to slap that in. Anyways, I think that's going to be the video. Executioner is pretty cool and recommended by me. I'll do some more videos on these mastery sets. If you guys are interested, if you have a mastery set you'd like to see discussed or recommend, let me know down in the comments.